unless it's snowing really hard, which it does sometimes, regardless of whose market you're in. Sometimes you get those inch and hour plus rates, and especially in some of the snow belt areas where you're getting a lot of lake effect. Okay, so we all know it snows hard, but another text there, high risk, a little reward. Absolutely, But when you're waiting on 3 or 4 inches as a trigger, what's that mean? That means it's going to be driven on, it's packed down, it's going to be a pain in the butt to plow off. And now they're restricting your salt use to the entrance only. And for you guys that are doing liquid ice melters out there, I mean, we'll talk about that as we get into the fall, but the advantages of that. But they're certainly not going to take a pre-treat in most cases from a liquid application. So now when you get there to plow it, it's just going to be a nightmare to get up. Now you throw into the mix that it's a storage unit. So now what's that mean? Well, it means we got a big trapped area of a whole lot of snow in most cases. We got doors on the right, doors on the left. So unless we're using a pusher or a carrier or skid steer, something that we can physically not just push with, and that's the thing you guys got to understand that are maybe getting involved in snow for the first time this year or next year or whatever, that it sounds great to say, okay, we'll just push it to the end, but there's nowhere to push it off and out of in a lot of cases. So you got to have the capability of either to lift it and dump it outside the fence or get it outside the fence. And most of these storage unit places, they're not willing to pay for that. Some are, but as a majority, in a lot of markets, they're not. But they always get somebody that does it because they don't know what they don't know about doing trapped areas like that. And then they call you after it's done, and it's like, well, man, my people can't get to the doors. Well, where'd you want me to take the snow? It's got to, it doesn't, you got to be set up to do storage units. You got to be set up to do trapped areas. So don't let them lure you in with that 3 to 4 inch trigger thinking, oh, man, this will be good. We're going to make some money on it. And then, well, you're only going to salt the entrances. So now, that's where the money's made in our industry, guys, in snow and ice management. It's on the back of the truck, not the front of the truck. It's immaterial. It's immaterial. It really is. You might find a couple guys that argue opposite of that with you. And I'm not saying there's not plenty of money in snow plowing. And before you send me a text, say, well, maybe that's the way it is in Kentucky, but it ain't like that up here where I'm at, Well, the reality of it is I go around and talk snow and ice management, representing a lot of the major equipment manufacturers all over North America. And regardless, it's that material is where it's quick, it's easy. And you guys that have done this a while know I'm telling these guys the truth, right? I mean, I'd much rather run a de-icing route than a plowing route. It's faster, it's easier, nothing gets tore up generally unless you just back into something being reckless. That's where it's at. So now you got a company here in this proposal that's wanting a 4 inch plus trigger and only salt the entrance. Don't get hung up in that because it's at least a 4 or 5 to 1 ratio. Think about your own markets. And that doesn't matter if you're in Louisville,